And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and I am back with the squad tips series. It took a little longer than I wanted to come out, but either way, I got 5 squads for you guys. I'm going to look over them and tell you what improvements that you can make for a reasonable price. So shout out to my man Pitt Hooper. We got the first squad here. Now, if you guys want to submit your squads, I do these every single week. I don't know how much longer for 2K21 I'm going to be doing them, just because we're getting to the point where every card is so overpowered. I mean, if you guys will still watch it, I'll still do it, but you know, you get what I'm saying. So let's look at the squad here. But you can submit your squads to me over on Twitter, twitter.com/cheapludes, or when I post in the community page on YouTube, I will usually post and you can comment your squads down below. That's usually where most people submit their squads, but Twitter always works too because I can take a picture of this. So Wes Unseld, Terry Dissinger, real old school backcourt there. Kevin Durant, Team USA, Kevin Durant, John Collins, Eddie Curry. All right, pretty cool, grindable squad. Benches RJ Hampton, Robert Reed, Gerald Wilkins, Dino, Murasan, and Christian Wood. The reason that Christian Wood is also in the mix here is because he says he likes to kind of switch it up as the game goes on. Okay. Current gen, 30K. You run 5 out through KD and Terry for the most part. Not grinding a single other spotlight sim, so don't bother telling me to. I had no intention to tell you to like put yourself through pain for like a fake basketball card, I promise. Best releases are West, Terry, KD, and Murasan. I love using Murasan as a cheese ball, and I'm low-key really nice with him. All right. Same with Unseld. I love that card. You know I'm not telling you to get rid of Wes Unseld. Like, you know who you're talking to here. You barely green with RJ. Who's RJ? Oh, Hampton. Okay. I was like, what? I was like, wait, I can't find an RJ. Looking to upgrade the bench a lot, honestly, and also I play unlimited with a little occasional TTO sweating. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would keep the way you're going with the Dino, Christian Wood, you know, combo, kind of whoever you need in that moment. That works pretty well. Both those cards are more than usable and still fire. Obviously, I'm never going to say a negative thing about Dino. I would still run Gerald Wilkins for now, just because he's like a free Dark Matter card that works really well, so you don't have to go spend a bunch of MT to run him. But Robert Reed and RJ Hampton. So as far as point guards, there's not a whole lot of budget point guards that you can really look at. I mean, going to 2KDB and looking at like a few options, just so I'm like refreshed on point guards themselves. Let's look at the updates page and we'll see what we got recently. Is anybody in the penny set that's pretty good? No. Yeah, nobody's in the penny set. That's really tight. Brandon Roy is really good, but he might be a little bit expensive, so I don't really think he's necessarily worth it. Now I can tell you Robert Reed, we can make a pretty substantial upgrade like relatively quick for Robert Reed. The reason I say that is because Clyde Drexler is super duper cheap, and I promise he is an instantaneous upgrade over Robert Reed. He plays similar to Robert Reed in like what you would do with them, but Clyde Drexler is just an extremely upgraded version of what Robert Reed will give you. Now at the same time, like Robert Reed, I think, is a better jump shooter personally, and he's a little stockier, so he's a little bit better at triggering those defensive animations, but Clyde Drexler is one of the best shooting guards in this game that you can buy for under 10K. That's not even like me going overboard. I really do think that. Another cheap option would be Chris Mullin. You could go with Chris Mullin as well. They'll cost you around the same thing, around 6K. I think they're definitely worth that price for sure. If you're looking for more of a sharpshooter, like definitely Chris Mullin would be the one to go with base 22 on very quick, which is super tight. He also can rim run pretty well as well. Drexler is also a really good shooter. Every card that comes out at this point is cracked out. But Drexler comes with the benefit of also being an incredible rim attacking player. Drexler is no joke one of my favorite cards in the entire game. Like, I'm not even kidding. This dude is stupid. It's actually stupid how good this card is. Now, as far as the backup point guard, there's a few different options you could realistically look at. Zach LaVine is good, but I feel like he's a little bit too expensive. Like, he's still around 30K, which I think is obviously too expensive. If you want to go someone who's a lot cheaper, you could pick up someone like a Karis LeVert. Like, Karis LeVert's really cheap, and he wouldn't be like a terrible player to use in the meantime. And if that's not something you want to look at, I would wait until Friday, and we'll kind of see what we get in the budget department Friday. Just because I don't think there's a lot of point guards that are worth the MT right now. RJ Hampton you might not be very good with, but at the same time, he might even be better right now just to use for the next few days rather than spending some of your MT on someone you don't want. But one instantaneous upgrade would be Clyde Drexler over Robert Reed. You could even, if you didn't like Gerald Wilkins, you can even use Clyde Drexler or Chris Mullin at the small forward. Like, both of them would work just fine at those positions. So definitely a couple of cards to look at. Shout out to you, Pitt Hooper. Thank you for submitting your squad. I hope that helped you. I'm not trying to overturn your entire squad. I'm just trying to give you a few things that'll help out. But I would wait until Friday's content, because who knows what we're going to get. And it's like so cracked out at this point that I don't really think there's anything, or any reason, I should say, to overturn a lot of the guys in your team when we could potentially get like a bunch of fire budget options later on. And today we didn't get anything that would really help you. All right. Shout out to my man Omnom. He's up next. We got Luca. Always a good sign. PG. Okay. KD. I swear I'm like the only person who does not have this. Pantheon Kevin Durant. I'm just not a big Durant fan this year. And I don't know. So you have Anthony Davis, and I believe it's Anthony Davis from the Pantheon set. Yeah, and Eddie Curry. 2 Eddie Currys in a row. That's what we like to see. Bench is Clarkson. I mean, Clarkson's good. No real reason to use anyone else. Vince. Okay. Gerald Wallace. What Gerald Wallace is it? That's what I'm curious about. I don't know what Gerald Wallace. I think it's a badged up quantum one, but if you have the dark matter one, same thing applies. I mean, based on what I'm reading here, I think you're good. Danny Ferry. Yeah. Okay. And Wiseman. All right. Cool. So this is the squad. Let's look at what your playstyle is. I don't play competitively. I just try to enjoy the game. Yep. But speed boosters and 5-out gods kind of ruin it. Yep. Don't want to get rid of Vince or Kevin Durant since they're my favorite players of all time. Respect that. And I don't want to get rid of Wallace because I really just enjoy Wallace. Well, you really like him. Cool. I have 80k MT and I'm willing to change anything else. All right. So right off the bat, I like the team. Like I do like this team. You don't really like Danny Ferry, which it's understandable. I mean, he's not the greatest card in the world. I mean, a good budget option that would be a nice replacement for him is like, I don't know. I don't think like someone like Kevin Love would really be a good replacement for Danny Ferry. I think that really isn't going to help you very much. Antoine Jameson is a little bit too expensive. I don't think he's necessarily a really good fit as a replacement for Danny Ferry. Just with the amount of offense that he brings you, it's kind of tough to really say, yes, go pick this guy up. Going to do more spotlight sims also isn't something I'm going to recommend. Now, you have 40k, right? I think that's how much. Let me double check how much you have here, because I just want to check, because there's some options and some guys to do. Where do you go? 80k. Okay. 80k. It depends as far as like what kind of upgrades you want to make to the squad. A lot of the guys that I think that are going to be in like a solid price range to pick up would be like Danilo Gallinari would be good, but he's a little bit too expensive, and honestly, you're going to run into the same like staleness problems with Danilo that you do with Danny Ferry. Like, it's tough, man. Jonathan Isaac is too expensive. I mean, he came out today. He would be a good option, but I just don't think it's worth spending all that MT on him. I would just wait for Friday and just kind of hold it down with what you got right now, because I just don't think there's anyone that's really worth upgrading from Ferry as of right now, you know? If you want to take a flyer on someone, like Kevin Love's a fun card, but I don't think he's better than Ferry anyway, so I don't really know if that's necessarily going to help at all. Looking at some of the other cards, like Derek Jones Jr. out of the Rewind set might legitimately be a card you could look at. It just depends what he's going for, because I don't know exactly what he's going for right now, but he might be a card that would be a superior option to Danny Ferry. He is a little bit small at the power forward, though. Tatum, perhaps, I guess, if you want to try him out, because he's like ridiculously cheap right now. Some other cheap options, just kind of looking through like what we have available here. I don't know. I don't really think any of them are necessarily like crazy tantalizing or like really worth it at the end of the day. Maybe Pascal Siakam. Siakam might be a good option, but at the same time, it's probably just a good idea just to hold off until, yeah, probably just hold off until Friday. But the rest of the team is fine. I mean, if this is a team you like using, you just want a replacement at the power forward. I mean, Anthony Davis was probably the guy I was going to say, but you already have him. I would just use Ferry for now and wait for Friday's content. Sorry, I can't give you more tips, but the rest of your team is fine, especially because you like Gerald Wallace a lot. So I don't think there's any point to going and spending a bunch of your MT on a guy that might even be outclassed on Friday, if that makes sense. So shout out to you for submitting the squad. Your team's straight. I don't really think there's any other moves you can really make, so that's what I would suggest. And next up, we got my man Luke's Fishing Life. Looks like he's running Ben Simmons at point guard, which you don't really see too many people running Ben Simmons. The people who usually ran Ben Simmons at point guard just run Giannis now. So Cam Reddish. I still don't have Cam Reddish, man. Jameson. Okay. Yeah, I like Jameson, dude. Wiseman at the power forward. Okay, bold strategy. I like it. Eddie Curry. Wiseman Curry is stupid. Like that, not in like a bad way. I don't mean it's like dumb. I mean it's like stupidly overpowered. That's like a super funny front court. That's like really good. That's what I mean. And then you're running Luka off the bench unit. Terry Dissinger. Okay. Bailey Howell. All right, you got some white boys from the 60s down here. That's fun. Mo Bamba and Rudy Gobert. Okay, interesting. Real defensive squad right there. I'm on current gen with like 20k and green pretty easily with everyone. All dark matter. Okay. Right off the bat, I would say, I don't know. How do you feel about running Bamba and Gobert? Like, do you like running the two giants thing? And the reason I ask that is just because I personally don't like it, but you could be a completely different play style to me. I'm not sure. It depends how you feel about the two giants thing. Like Wiseman and Curry is a good combo because both of them can like ball handle if they need to. So you basically have 5 ball handlers. Like Cam Reddish might actually be the worst ball handler on the starting 5. It's not like he's bad in the game or anything. It's just like he's the least traditional. Like people don't typically handle the rock with Cam Reddish when they play with him, is what I'm saying. Bench unit's fine. Like I said, I don't know how you feel about Bamba and Rudy Gobert next to each other, though. So that might be a point of pickup. One dude I would say is, I know I've said it before, Clyde Drexler. I would go pick him up and maybe run a lineup that includes like Howell at power forward, Dissinger small forward, Clyde Drexler, and then whichever of these two centers that you prefer as the center, and just kind of see how that works out for you. You might be surprised to see you play a lot better with a lineup like that. Other than that, the lineup's fine. Like, there's no point to make any adjustments as of right now. I would just kind of wait over till Friday. Maybe we get something crazy that you like can't pass up or something. Just with the MT amount you have, there's no point to go splurge on some other cards. Another cheap guy you could probably pick up, and I would say this for the rest of the teams that I kind of covered as well, would be Dominique. Dominique's not too expensive. I believe I saw him going for around 20k today, which is kind of expensive compared to Clyde Drexler, who's going for like 6, 7. But Dominique is literally a god. He has like 61 Hoff badges. He's the most overpowered card you can buy for under 30k when he is under 30k. So something to think about. Other than that, I mean, if this squad works well for you, there's really no upgrades for you to make. I just personally don't like Rudy Gobert too much. I don't really know how you feel about him, but like, let me know what you think. I hope that kind of helps you out. I usually dislike doing these lists like in the middle of content because I just like am so with 2K's power scaling problems. Usually they're gonna blow everything out of the water every single Friday for the most part. So it's just interesting what we're gonna see. All right, Tupac. Okay, fun. All right, point guard LeBron, Michael Jordan, USA. Okay. USA Jordan. I've been using the USA Jordan. He's fun, dude. I enjoy him. James Worthy. Oh, you got a big ass lineup. I like this. Giannis Radioactive. You do just enjoy him. Okay. Mutombo. Dikembe. All right. Magic Johnson. Team USA Magic. Cool. Vince Sanity. Let's see. Terry Dissinger. Man, a lot of Terrys in the mix here. Anthony Davis. Team USA, Anthony Davis, cool. And Marc Gasol. All right, Marc Gasol is an interesting one, but I mean, playstyle, you 5-out rim run and pick and pop. Cool. I have about 150k MT. I play unlimited, but mostly it's on the weekends. It's super toxic. Yep. That is factual. It is. You're on current gen too. Yep. Super toxic. You green the most with LeBron. Don't want to sell LeBron or Giannis. I'm open to any suggestions. Okay. Cool. I mean, you don't want to sell LeBron or Giannis. Interesting. So, right off the bat, a good way to improve this Giannis would be to pick up Chris Middleton. You can pick him up for basically nothing, and he improves this Giannis quite a bit. Like, usually the dynamic duos don't really do too much, but this one actually does. It does increase Giannis's three-point rating and a few other things, and makes him a much better card. So, something to consider. Where would you play Chris Middleton? I mean, I don't think you said you didn't want to get rid of Vince, right? Or was that the last person? No, I mean, if you're cool with getting rid of Vince, it wouldn't be like a terrible idea to do something like this. And just try it out. You can always sell Chris Middleton back and only lose a couple hundred MT if you want to. Try that out. You could even move him to the starting lineup if you want to, but like, this might not be terrible. Like, this might actually work out a lot better than you thought it would. Is something like that kind of lineup. Now, if you don't want to pick up Chris Middleton, which I understand, some people do not like the card. I personally think he's great, but on current gen, I can understand people not wanting to pick him up as much. It might be worth the flyer because of how cheap he is. So that's definitely something to think about. As far as the rest of the team's fine. Dikembe's still an elite center. He's still like a top 5 center in my opinion. Maybe fringe top 5. I don't really think it matters though. Magic is still a beast. Dissinger's good. Marc Gasol is actually shockingly pretty okay. I know some people didn't really think he was going to be good, but I personally think he's pretty solid. And I don't think there's really any moves to make. Honestly, this is the only thing I might do just to try it out, because maybe, who knows, maybe you might like this a lot better. Especially Chris Middleton having like an additional, or basically one singular 3-and-D option, especially for the way you play, might be pretty beneficial. Plus he makes Giannis a better shooter and stuff like that. So I would check that out. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I just don't think there's too many moves to make. I'm not saying that's the end-all be-all move for your team. You're probably going to have to make more in the future or whatever. But if you want to keep Giannis, not like it's an ultimatum or anything. I'm not like a mean dad or something. But just trying to help you keep Giannis afloat. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you. Next up, and finally, we got my man. Is his name Koobly? Koobly. It's a pretty sweet name. I don't know if that's real or not, but I'm going to pretend it is. We got Lonzo Ball. Yeah, I haven't suggested Ben Wallace for anyone in this video. That's actually kind of crazy. That's very unlike me. Dissinger. So many Dissingers, bro. I use Dissinger, so I guess I can't really. John Collins. John Collins is surprisingly good. And Wiseman. All right, I really like the starting lineup, by the way. I don't think I'm going to suggest doing anything with the starting lineup unless there's like a bench move I can make. Off the bench, you're running Team USA Magic, Drexler, okay, and Eddie Curry. Okay, so you're running a 3-man bench, but you're open to running a 5. Okay, that's why I picked this team. Interesting. 285k MT, playstyle 5-out, 3 hunt, speed glitch, rim run, current gen, play all game modes, doesn't matter. You currently only run a 3 bench players, but you're willing to run 5. Okay, yeah, I mean, the squad's really nice. Aside from that, I do think it's beneficial because if you look, like, realistically, while playing unlimited, I don't think it's going to affect your overall too much to add a couple more. Maybe it does. Maybe you start getting matched up with better players, but with SBMM in the game, I don't really think there's much that's going to change. So it's not a terrible idea to pick up a couple guys. One, obviously, that I would recommend is a guy we've seen a lot. He's one of the best budget cards in this game. Pantheon Anthony Davis. You can pick him up for like 7-8K. He's a beast. I think that improves your team a lot too, because it adds another John Collins-like player to the bench unit. So that way it's not even that unlike your starting unit to a certain extent. Cam Reddish being there, Cam Reddish is fine. Terry Dissinger's fine. John Collins is fine. Like, I don't even think you should start AD over John Collins necessarily. You could if you want, but I don't really think it's that necessary. As far as like other guys that you could put in the small forward role. There's a lot of guys that you could do. I mean, Chris Mullin's actually really, really good. He's one of my favorite cards in the game right now, especially at the budget tier. Like, he's a beast, dude. You could always slide Clyde over to the small forward if needed. As far as like what cards you could do that, I don't know. I don't really think it's yeah, I don't. Chris Webber. Yeah, I mean, Chris Webber's really cheap. It wouldn't be a bad idea to possibly pick up Webber and throw him right here. Bam. All of a sudden, you got a pretty elite squad right there if you look at it. If you don't want to spend the MT, Chris Mullin's fine, but looking at that bench unit with Magic, Clyde, Chris Webber, Anthony Davis, Eddie Curry, that's a pretty staunch bench unit. So I don't think it's necessarily even a bad idea to pick those two guys up. Webber is going for around 20K, and I promise you he is worth every single penny. Like, he's really good. I don't even really like Chris Webber cards that much, but this man is hooping. And Clyde Drexler is fine. You guys know I like Clyde Drexler. Picking up Anthony Davis is also another pretty solid pickup. Another option if you don't really like Anthony Davis that much and you're looking for more of a pure rebounder and three-point shooter is Kevin Love. I prefer Anthony Davis in almost every single way, but for me personally, I'm greener with Kevin Love's jump shot, which is why I kind of prefer him sometimes, but that's like very situational, you know? That's like very on me. So, but let me know what you think down in the comments. I think that's like a really good option to beef up your team. I think you'll have a lot more success with that, especially if you run into guys with like way bigger small forwards. You can drop Terry Dissinger to the bench and play Chris Webber, and that's going to help you out. It just gives you more flexibility for your team. As always, it has been your boy Cheap Lude. Sorry it took me so long to get this squad tip series out. I have been busy. So, and I still, like, my voice is still all messed up from going to the Game 7 Bucks thing in Milwaukee. So it's hard for me to talk for 30 minutes straight, you know? But it's getting better, so it should be fine. Check the description for all my stuff, and I'll be back with more content tomorrow. You know I'll be opening these final season rewind packs, and you know I'll be back Thursday night as well, because you know 2K cannot stop themselves from teasing what we're getting Friday to generate hype. So I'm going to have to cover that as well. So anyways, have a good night, everybody. Peace.